In the ever-twisting saga of Alex Murdaugh, convicted almost a year ago of the brutal slaying of his wife and son, a new character has been added to the cast. Retired Chief Justice of the state Supreme Court Jean Toal has been appointed to the Murdaugh case. Toal is known for being tough on and off the bench and is considered a brilliant jurist. She is tasked with deciding whether Alex Murdaugh will be granted a new trial in the double murders. Toal has pricked the pride of Murdaugh's lawyers, who appeared before her earlier this week in a pre-hearing to lay out the rules for the upcoming hearing. Judge Clifton Newman recused himself before retiring late last year, leading to Toal's appointment. Newman had sentenced Murdaugh to 2 consecutive life terms and had shown contempt for the defendant.
Even if Toal rules against a new trial, Murdaugh still has a solid case for appeal. The full story of the Murdaugh trial has yet to be told. The jurors, who were protected from the public glare during the trial, must now appear in court to answer questions about their interactions with Hill and whether they were influenced by her communications. The defense team faces a high bar to prove improper contact and influence on the guilty verdict. Toal noted that there is currently no evidence to support the allegations, and prejudice must be proven, not presumed. On January 29th, the 12 jurors and Hill have been ordered to testify directly to Toal, who will conduct the questioning herself. The hearing will not be a trial of Hill, but only focused on the 12 jurors who handed down the guilty verdict. 3 jurors have lawyered up and spoken out, claiming that Hill told them to ignore Murdaugh's testimony and played a significant role in the dismissal of one juror known as the egg juror. Hill's self-published book and allegations of plagiarism added to the controversy. In October, the South Carolina Court of Appeals agreed to send the murder case back to Circuit Court to consider allegations of jury tampering, implicating Colton County Clerk of Court Rebecca Hill. Murdaugh has also faced legal proceedings related to financial crimes for which he pleaded guilty and received a 27-year sentence. Under the plea agreement, he must serve at least 85% of that time, a practical life sentence for the 55-year-old.
Some members of the State Bar disagree with Toal's interpretation of the applicable standard from the U.S. Supreme Court case Remmer v. United States and the South Carolina case State v. Green. They argue that the onus falls to the state to prove the communications harmless. Toal emphasized that there's no evidence to support any of the allegations, and Murdaugh's lawyers have to prove both improper contact and influence on the guilty verdict. Jean Toal made it clear that she alone would conduct the questioning during the upcoming hearing. She stated that the hearing would not be a trial of Hill and that she wasn't interested in the egg juror, focusing only on the 12 who actually handed down the guilty verdict. In the months since Murdaugh's trial ended, he has been involved in various legal proceedings, including pleading guilty to financial crimes. He received a 27-year sentence, which was described as a practical life sentence, for the 55-year-old. Toal is considered a brilliant jurist and a tough presence on and off the bench. Here are the comments from the article from real viewers.
I have zero respect for a judge who is rude to anyone.
Every one of the rude ones was polite and friendly while they were trying to get those robes.
Why can't people just do their job, without preference or malice?
You think no one outside the area is interested in this story? I'm Canadian and absolutely fascinated.
Murdaugh still has a solid case for appeal, especially given what is known, if not publicly, about the egg juror's experience.
What is known about the egg juror's experience?
She apparently spoke with 3 people outside the courtroom about the trial and about her opinion that Murdaugh was not guilty. That's expressly prohibited. Whether or not Hill believes Murdaugh to be guilty, and who in their right mind wouldn't, Egg Lady was informed that she was absolutely not permitted to speak about the case. She knew that and did it anyway. What does this have to do with Hill?
I moved to SC as an adult and lived there for 25 years. Southern Gothic is its defining ethos, and William Faulkner would have felt right at home.
This is the kind of story that makes humans look so stupid. Maybe it's the whole system.
I guess we are stuck with Kathleen obsessing over every soap opera in her native South Carolina forever. Too bad. At one point in the distant past she actually was a decent columnist, as objective as one could expect, and writing about real issues of interest to serious people. Something happened.
Good Lord, clown show infinity.
I still can't believe anyone outside the local area is interested in this story.
I live in Australia and I'm interested.
Who does this murderer think he is? Trump?
Same attitude as Trump, for sure.
This is a local issue for SC in their legal system. I don't know why Parker would think that most of her national audience would be interested in her constant columns on this case. Most people don't have the patience to follow the intricate details of this latest appeal. Who cares about an egg lady juror anyway?
I did nothing wrong. Remind you of anyone. 2 tiers of justice, the rich and the poor. Just because you are found guilty doesn't mean you are innocent.
I started to read this article but got lost with egg lady and pizza.
I wonder if all those black men who went to prison for crimes they didn't commit would get the same opportunity a rich white guy gets, to have a second trial after it's pointed out the prosecutor and an all-white jury were yucking it up after court was in recess.
Why I continued to give monthly to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
A wonderful organization that I also give to.
Maybe there was a robbery at a neighbor's house. That should get him off. After all, it seems to be working for Chris Peterson, convicted of murdering his 8 months pregnant wife so he could be with his girlfriend, in California.
Scott Peterson.
This article belongs in a high school newspaper. Why is this author at the WAPO? Childish, poorly written, and journalistically immature.
Strongly disagree, as did the Pulitzer Committee. She's sterling and WAPO is lucky to have hung on to her. Please publish more, KP.
She's an idiot. There is nothing sterling about her, and there never was. Even the Pulitzer Committee makes mistakes.
No. A 22-year sentence isn't essentially a life sentence for a 55-year-old man in reasonably good health. I'm sure he can expect to live well into his 80s. He's sure to enjoy much more of the remainder of his life than his wife and son will.
I dunno, a rich, or ex-rich, white guy who used to be one of the elites, in a South Carolina prison. I would expect that his life expectancy would be counted in months unless he becomes Bubba's new squeeze.
The life expectancies of prisoners tend to be greatly reduced due to poor diets and awful medical care, even if they have survived prison.
Weird.
In addition to being a brilliant jurist, Judge Toal is a huge baseball fan and very knowledgeable about that too. A great lady. I was privileged to know her outside the legal arena.